doing today? I'm Gabriel Bassett, and we're going to turn unstructured text, so news articles, into structured breaches. And this is for our data set, the Varus Community Database. It's on GitHub. It is free for anyone to use, right at this link. And we try to continuously add to it. And so part of that is being assigned random breaches to code and getting them code in, but that takes a little bit of manual work, as is any good data collection process. And so that's what we're going to do today. My goal here is to get 3 done. I've got a meeting at the top of the hour, so can't spend too much time messing around. I think we did the Suki one yesterday. I must have just not closed it. Let me double check there. Or on Tuesday. So, yep. I did turn this in. And so we can close this one. Close issue. And we'll go back and do a couple of the ones we've got. So what's the next one here? Former clients of tax preparation business at risk of identity theft after tax toss out. Okay, let's see this one. So what we do is we're going to look at the news article, and then we're going to code it in this online tool. This is an all-enclosed web app, and so it doesn't have any external dependencies. It doesn't send any information out or receive any information. You can run it on a standalone laptop with no network connection. It runs fine. We just host it here for people who don't want to either open it locally or run a web server to run it. So what is this? Former client of tax preparation business at risk of da-da-da. Clients who had their taxes done. I'm not sure I need this ad. There we go. Clients who had their taxes done by a now defunct tax preparation business in Signal Hill may be at risk of having their identity stolen after piles of tax forms were found abandoned in an alley. You know, the sad thing is this is not the first time we've seen this kind of breach. Like, this is not a unprecedented action for PII to get left just kind of out and about after a business is abandoned. In fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to mark this one to review for our Thursday, because we've reviewed them on our Thursday internal calls before, but this is a good one for us to do with Alex and Phil, who have joined the team in the last year, to go over how exactly you code one where they just left the records out in the road. So we'll skip on that one and we'll go down to this one. Let's see what it is. Let's see. Sorry, I'm getting harassed on another channel. We'll take care of that, and we'll go back over here. Building company seizes files from rival. That's new. A building supply company has seized electronic files from a former business partner and now rival, who's accused of making unlawful use of confidential information to set up in competition with it. Yeah, actually, this happens a lot. Again, people split, and then they basically take their contacts and their customers with them. And now these are getting treated as data breaches as a way to kind of, I think maybe an easier way to get back at the person who took the data. Search and seizure ordered by a judge took place at 5 different premises last month. Sophie Moreau, who employs 100 staff around the country. So we've got a date. This is an older one from 2015. Let's get this going. So if this happened in 2015, it should be in the 20s. Well, it happened in... So the two sides formally parted ways in September 2014. That means it should go into the 2015 corpus. This is confirmed because it was a breach from a company, or there's a legal record of it. And then we have this one news article. It's a reference. This is a construction company. Is that what it was? Building supply company. So that's more retail. Supply company. A former employee at a building supply company took files with them to start a new business. Okay. Confidence. It seems pretty high. So they split ways in September. So notionally this had to have happened in September of 2014. Before what that means were held. Okay. And the bank's interests, the two sides of the company formerly parted ways. Between the two interests had become strained. Okay, the responsibility. Okay. Limited partnership behind the business was formed by two companies, Wilson and McIndoe, and Hardware Connections after the collapse of their common customer, Main Zeal, in early 2013. I'm actually going to use that. I actually like that. That is amusing. So we'll put that in there. So, after the collapse of their common customer, Menziel, in early 2013, those responsible were Tony Banks, Janet Banks, and Scott McEnroe. The bank's interest. Hardware Connections is run by Soper, and Galvin, the Soper interests. By June last year, so 2014, two interests have become strained. The two sides of the company formally parted ways in September 2014, and the bank's interest bought out their partners. So Banks bought the whole company, the whole partnership, from Soper, except Soper left with the data. Granted search order last month, said the evidence before him strongly suggests Soper was beginning to take steps to set up a business in competition with their partner as early as June last year, 2 months before the separation. New rival is a company called NZ Hardware. Before NZ Hardware was set up, meetings were held in August 2014 this year, and Galvin were present. So I'm going to say discovery happened. I mean, discovery took months. This whole thing took months. Compromise really took months. Exfiltration took months. I mean, compromise really is not applicable because this is misuse. They had access to the data. But it took months for them to kind of split correctly. It took months to discover it, for the judge to give them orders to go and look for it. And then it took, I think, another month to seize the data. So we'll say 4 weeks, because they searched for it in August. Or the judge granted things, said there was enough reason to believe it happened last month. And then this month, we'll just say weeks, because the judge granted them, there was probably evidence, and then they searched and took back the data later in that month. So the victim here is this Wilson Monroe. No. Supply company. What was the name? Building rival. Okay. The limited partnership behind the business. Scott Micro employs 100 supplier bill. Soper's. So it was Soper's McIndoe was the company. Employee count, over 100 staff, so let's say 100 to 1,000. Industry, let's see. See, this is the Nix Code search page. Where's the actual Nix Codes page? Nick's probably reference, I think. Get me to the yeah. No, that's a search. Let's try this. Just give me, nope, that's still the search. So maybe if I search this one, so it's different. Oh no, this is this other, the next organization. Okay, so let's go to Wayback Machine. This is probably what I should have been using from the start for Nix codes after Far Smarter Bids kind of disappeared off the map. That was helpful. Copy link address. And this page is probably not changing a lot. It hasn't changed in years, so here we go. And I'm gonna bookmark this because this is the page that we need to get to. And so wholesale trade, roofing sites. Okay, so we gotta figure out what they sold. Bathroom products, cabinetry, doors, handles, door, window seals, door, wood window and door manufacturing, metal window and door man. Okay, so furniture and cabinet manufacturing. That's not really what we want. Home furnishing merchants, millwork and wood panel, brickstone. See, I don't know. I don't know if it falls under construction or hardware furnishing. I'm going to put 423 merchants, wholesalers, and durable goods. What was 432, 432, 431? What is it? Down here, where the lumbers, these were 4233. Yeah, this will have to do for now. Locations affected. Oh no, it was multiple locations, wasn't it? Yeah. So they searched. How many locations did they search? 5 different locations, and this is in New Zealand, right? Yeah. To New Zealand. New Zealand should be. Actually, we looked up New Zealand the other day, and it's not. It's like Oceania. Yeah, it's 053, 009, 053. 009, 053. And then I don't remember if we looked up states in New Zealand. I'm not really sure what it had. It has 16 regions. And this was in Auckland, I think, right? So put that in there. And close that. Action. This is misuse. Physical access, because apparently they took physical records. Well, no, we don't know that. But I mean, it took digital record, right? Yeah, electronic files. So, LAN access. This is really list content, knowledge abuse. Not really, because they took the files, unapproved things. So privilege abuse to exfiltrate. I mean, that's really the only action involved. The actor was internal. Say an executive. Where'd they go? Auditor, cashier, developer, doctor, end user, executive. For financial gain. And not really like go, but resigned. They were leaving. Side was buying out interest. And then the asset, total assets. We really don't know the assets, but we know it was digital files. So let's assume those files were stored on some kind of server. Well, in fact, let's assume file server. Because they were digital files, they were stored in a location. We don't really know how many locations they were stored in. Certainly that was in New Zealand, though. But I don't know total assets. Attribute. Confidentiality, was data disclosed? Yes. The variety was confidential information, internal information. We don't know the amount. The data victim is the victim organization itself. The data was stored. Data was abused. We think so. No partner data. That doesn't really need to be filled in. Targeted. This is opportunistic. Yeah, this is where he had access to the data. It wasn't that he needed this company specifically. Discovery method. It doesn't really say how they discovered it. Mark that as unknown. Value chain doesn't really apply to misuse. Impact. I think this is distracting because it had some impact on customers. So random assignment. And then the action was misuse by an internal actor on a server. Compromised confidentiality. Just one step. And mark this one validated. And we're going to save this off over here into a separate file. This ensures that if anything happens to the web app, we make sure we have the file, even though this is saving to non-volatile local browser storage. With that, we can close this one. And then I think that is all the ones that were assigned to me. I should have had 7, but I had 6. Oh yeah, this was Thursday. I should take myself off of this. And then instead, we'll go grab some Alex Pintos. He's been busy. We'll grab the first 2. Okay. Cyril Dental was a clinic in Dothan. With a clinic in Dothan is offering patients free credit monitoring after an attack on its computer system. In July, we detected ransomware. Appears to have been a result of an intrusion. It may have happened in January 19th, so we have dates and we have discovery dates. We have malware type. We don't have how it got there. Claims immediately deactivated the network, temporarily closed practices, engaged an independent IR firm. Like I said, the company didn't pay the ransom. No, this may have been no information that may have been involved in the incident, but we're just being clear. It was neither socials or financial information was compromised. Because we cannot rule it out. Possibility the hacker attained it. Company is offering identity theft protection for 12 months with $1 million. Yada yada yada. Okay. This is a pretty stock one, and there's not a lot of information, but there's enough to make it to code it up. Security incident confirmed. This happened in January the 7th this year, so it goes in 2020. Our reference is this. Summary. Ransomware at dental clinics. We know that potentially 15 locations were affected. The real intrusion that may have happened. It doesn't really say how many locations though. Confidence. There's not a lot of detail here. particularly in the action. So we know when the incident happened, 2019. Wait, just to be clear, what happened here is they got ransomware in January, and they didn't detect it until July. That is like, that has to be the least useful ransomware. It's been the result of an intrusion that may have happened in January. You know, what probably happened is the attackers were in the network for several months, and then didn't drop the malware until either this or they screwed up their, yeah, critical. This could be two things, either, or it could be a couple. It could be that the ransomware was dropped, but dropped in a useless place, like on someone's desktop or something. And that desktop had sensitive information, but no one really realized and it just kind of got ignored. It could also be that they didn't really get their IR right, and so they had a intrusion in January, and then they had another intrusion in July, and they just lumped the two together. So the timeline here is not particularly clear. I'm not going to... We know they had an intrusion in January. And we know that the ransomware was dropped in July. They detected because of the ransomware, I'm sure. It could also be that the attackers entered in January and then putzed around and stole a bunch of PHI for a later fraud, which is why they're giving the identity theft protection. And then on their way out, drop the ransomware. Yeah, I like the idea about the attackers being like, look, you know, we've been trying to contact you. This is our third and final attempt. Please answer this immediately. In fact, I got a mailer like that was like, this is our second attempt to contact. It was meant to look like a census form and was not. It was fairly convincing, though. I feel sorry for all the people that didn't look more accurately at it. So, but anyway, I don't think we don't know a lot about this. There's a couple of competing hypotheses, all that could be equally likely, and so I'm not gonna go with the month's discovery. I think this happened in January, or in 2019. This could have been two attacks. I'm going to code up the information here as best I can, but without a lot of... I'm going to move this to low. Without a lot of confidence that this is correct. That there is more going on here than they let on. So Sarah Dental. They are... Come on. Who is Sarah Dental? Or Sarel Dental. Sarah Dental, 200 to 500 employee. Sarah Dental and Eye Care Centers. Okay, so 100 to 1,000. So a small organization. The locations affected, we really don't know. We know that they were in the United States. Which puts them here. And where did it say? 15 locations in Alabama. So USAL. Worldwide. With that, industry, say clinic. Oh, come on. Clinic. What? Okay. So this is going to be in like an outpatient healthcare. Office of optometrists. We'll go with that. Here we go. So our victim information, the action. I'm going to mark an action unknown for infiltration because it's unclear how it got there. Some arrow was deployed. But we do know that ransomware was deployed. And we don't know the vector. It really wasn't an exfiltrate or anything. So actor clearly is external. Organized crimes who use organized organizations use ransomware for financial gain. We don't know their location, but we have to put it in here as unknown. In fact, I'm gonna maybe add a Varus issue for this, because we always end up putting in like actor country. We always end up putting it in, but I'm not really sure that it needs to be a required one, because so many times actor location is unknown. So I'm going to create a Varus issue to make actor.external.country not required. Reason being is it's rarely known and just adds to work to choose unknown repeatedly. And what we'll do is internally, this is really a schema change. We will go through, we'll have a meeting here probably next week where we go through all the issues that are marked as enumerations or schema changes. And we will accept or decline those, and then we'll add them to the next version of Varus. And by the way, if anyone has any issues that they would like to see in Varus, any enumerations or such, either contact me about it, or maybe make a note, create an issue in Varus, and we will consider adding it to the schema. Now we're only going to add things that we think that we can fill in and that happen. But like, for example, the result that came from a suggestion from someone who used Varus, and so we do put things that are requested in. Okay. So I think we've got this done. And the asset is clearly, I think, a server. Well, we know it was a computer, but we don't know if it was a server or a user device, really. Did they say it all in the article? Detected ransomware. Deactivated the network temporarily, closing, engaged an IR firm. It's been misused. It did not indicate the number of patients have been affected. Claims of social security numbers. Obtain sensitive information from the network. I'm going to say that it was a server, because if they're saying from the network, it implies that it, maybe it moved beyond the individual desktop systems. It very likely came in through the desktop, but also this could easily have come in through like a RDP session. So the assets, server unknown. We don't know much about the asset. Excuse me. This is really an availability issue. Obscuration and duration. Did they even say? I mean, it's unknown, because we don't know if it got on in January or got on July. Discovery targeted, it's more than likely opportunistic, because that's where the money is, type thing. Discovery method, we're going to say external disclosed by actor, because it's ransomware. Let's see. Value chain. Certainly there would need to be development of ransomware. We don't know about non-distribution services, but we know, and really we don't know targeting either, because we don't know if this was targeted by way of, we don't know if they were targeted by email or some other method. We would guess email. Distribution, unknown. Cash out, though, is clearly going to be cryptocurrency, and we don't know what kind of money laundering, though we can guess based off of cryptocurrency. Impact seems insignificant. Like, not a lot happened here. Though, confidentiality, unknown, data variety, medical, data abuse, unknown, credit monitoring, yes, for 1 year. See, and so because we know the credit monitoring was offered, and so they are treating it kind of as if a breach happened. So we'll put that there. But marking this confidentiality unknown will ensure it doesn't get counted as a breach. Discovery, we got that. We got value chain into plus. This was a PHI DBR assignment, and it starts with an unknown action or a set of actions by an external actor on an unknown asset, leading to integrity, so access, which really means we should code we don't know the attribute. We don't know if it was confidentiality because like credentials being breached, or we don't know if it was integrity. But we do know, actually, we should have an integrity issue up here for software installation. Then actions, a malware action, the ransomware by an external actor on a server led to compromise of availability. And with that, we can mark this validated. There's 2 of the 3 we hope to get done. We're actually doing pretty good. I might have some time in between my 2 meetings. File, close this one, and we'll close this issue. We'll go back and do another one for Alex. This is data of 2.43 million Lumen PDF users shared on Hacking Forum. Yep, that gives us a little bit of detail. The details of 24.3 million Lumen PDF users have been shared today on Hacking Forum on a Hacking Forum. Sorry about all the coughing. Hackers said they leaked the company's data after Lumen PDF failed to answer the queries multiple times. Answer their queries. What in the world does that mean? It's a little known cloud-based service that lets users view, edit, and share PDF files. It's founded in 2014. Okay. Today, a hacker published a download link for the company's entire user database. Obtain a copy of the archive. Okay, so why? So the data was later destroyed by ransomware and server taken down after that. Again, 2 breaches. So remember, a couple of weeks ago, we had the same thing where there was a security researcher, and in this case, they're calling it a hacker, found the database, contacted the vendor, apparently downloaded the database, but this time the database was destroyed by ransomware. The hacker had the data and then published it. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to do this, and we're going to get another 2 breaches. So there's the hacker, and then there's the ransomware. It's confirmed. What was our timeline? It was found 5 months ago, and this was published on December 19th. So we'll say May, maybe? I put the GitHub. I'm in the wrong place. Let's see. Put the reference in. Then breach 1 of 2. First. I mean, is hacker the right word? They say hacker. So hacker finds database exposed to internet, downloads it, shares it. Second, breach coded separately. Actually, I'm going to put these notes in the analyst notes. 2 breaches. One. This one. is database downloaded. Number 2, database ransomed. Okie dokie. Confidence, high timeline. This happened in 2019, and they said September minus 5 months. So let's say April. And then no real date. Containment never really happened. I don't know. I guess months because the ransomware contained it. Discovery. Did they ever discover it? Yeah, I guess they acknowledged it. Company data was shared on Hacky Forum. So Discovery. Since they didn't respond for 5 months, I'm going to say 5 months. They didn't do anything about it. Denied the hackers claim the leaked data contained valid Google access tokens. If abused, these access tokens will allow Microsoft to post legitimate users on Google Drive. The leaked access token, blah, blah, blah. However, it notes that they are not in a position to verify these claims. One word against that. Well, it's nice of them to say that. You know, it's one word against the others. Plans publishing a blog post on December 17th. So I guess maybe weeks after September 16th, they were contacted. I don't know. It's unknown whether they contain it. Well, if we say it was contained by the ransomware, I'm just gonna put unknown because it's such a weird schedule. Exfiltration happened probably minutes after the guy downloaded it. Compromise took, say, hours of looking to find a database on sites that list such things. Victim ID, Lumen PDF. So let's find out about their company. Tell me about yourself. I would assume that they're a small company, kind of these small, yeah, small business, 11 to 15, 10 to 100, 11 to 100. Industry, there's that really good one in information for data, data processing, hosting processing. I really like that for these types of companies. Locations affected. 1. Lumen PDF is located where? Oh. Let's figure out where they are. They're in another New Zealand. I'll be. What we decided 09053, I think. 053, that's right. And then, do we know where? New Christchurch. Okay. I wonder what state Christchurch is in. None of y'all know, right? Okay, let's see. City in the South Island of New Zealand. South Island. Is that what it's called? South Island? South. I guess there's multiple states in Southland. On the South Island. Let's try the Wikipedia page. And these are called states, right, in New Zealand. Subdivision. name, New Zealand, 16 regions. Canterbury. There we go. And that was one here, right? Canterbury, CAN. By the way, I find it amusing that New Zealand, which is relatively small compared to other countries, uses 3-letter definitions for their states instead of 2. Wonder if someone's just like planning ahead for when they have 1,000 states. So the actor for this one was an external, unaffiliated, or maybe activist. I mean, but it's not a group. It's an unaffiliated person. This seems to be for fun. Just they were searching around for it, or maybe they published it for ideology. So we'll go with ideology. We don't know their location. Close that. The asset is 1 MongoDB. It's amazing how these things just kind of happen over and over again. It's like people do the same thing. If you find something that works, you do it. Server, database. We really don't know a bunch about the rest of this. Attribute. In this case, the data was disclosed. It was customer data. And this was notable because there were, what, 2.3 million? So make sure we get enough zeros in here. 2.3, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And what kind of data was it? Other data shared. Like counted data after looking at. Okay. We share. I mean. So the asset cloud. Go with cloud hosting. Well-known cloud-based service that lets users. Okay. So what was lost? Founded, affiliated with the company's name, meaning one of the third-party apps that Google Drive uses can install. Full file containing the user records of. Oh, we have an exact number. Well, I'm okay with that. Uses full names, address, gender, location, and hash password. So let's get back down here. Let's get actuals. And we will use that. And we had, does it have payment information? No. It does have credentials though. So both credentials and personal information. Location settings. And this was stored unencrypted in a database. It was published online, so that counts as abuse. I don't think they offered any kind of monitoring or anything, did they? They were going to publish a blog post or something. Okay. And so confidentiality on that one. Targeted, this was very much opportunistic. Discovery method. Actor disclosure. No real value chain. Well, there is a so this is web search. You know, we probably should start putting this in here. Actually, it's really non-web internet search. You know, maybe this is an enumeration we need for this, because this happens so much that there is the ability to search for those things is used, and a lot of times I don't think that's people scanning the internet themselves. I think it's them using services. So targeting, not really. Misconfigurations, I guess, yeah. The rest of it doesn't apply. Impact. I don't know, it seems insignificant so far. Variety. No, we'll skip that. Plus, this was a priority assignment. And the event chain was And actually, this should be coded as an error. I think I've screwed up here, which would make it an internal actor, internal on a server, and compromising confidentiality. That means we need to go back and change some things. It needs to be discovered by, I think security researcher is appropriate way to describe that rather than actor disclosure. Not applicable because we're describing it. Well, gosh, but they. So we can code this as something malicious. No, I'm going to code, well, we would normally code these as an error because this is an interesting one. I'm going to mark this as a Thursday review as well. Because normally we record these as an error, but normally they're discovered by security researchers who don't post the entire database online. And so this gets in that gray area between whether it's an error or a malicious action. And normally we would code these as an error. And so, because really the only actions were finding it. And so we're going to remove the value chain stuff. This is why we haven't run into this before. So, okay, close this, come back to targeting and remove the targeting. And go up to the actor is not the unaffiliated person. The actor is the internal actor. It was the system administrator who left this thing online. Admin, no motive. And then up here, instead of, did I even code an action? It's probably part of my mistake because I missed the action. I mean, I did code something, right? No malware. I didn't code anything, I don't think. So let's code this as an error. Misconfiguration. We don't know why. And I'll take a second to explain why I'm doing it this way after I get this saved out. Okay, so validated. Got all that. Did I miss anything? Nope. Okay. Okay, and so the reason I'm coding this as an error is because really the actor who found it, finding it was the only actual action he took, right? He didn't have to use any credentials. He didn't really, it was simply direct access to the system. He didn't take any malicious action other than to access the system itself. Now, after he did that, he did some malicious things with it. But really the way we normally code this, if he had been a legitimate person and had not posted online, there'd be no question that we would code it as an error, a publishing error, and just say, well, you know, the security researcher or the hacker ran across it. And so because that's how we normally do these, I'm going to code it that way. However, this brings up the interesting juxtaposition in the report and in Veris, which I've talked about before, but I'll mention again. We very often code, we code breaches, and we really own all steps in attack require both a vulnerability of some type, a vulnerable condition, or we'll just say a condition to be exploited, and a action by someone to realize or make use of that condition. Now, whether it's vulnerable or not is really kind of a scale where, you know, we can draw a line and say everything below this is vulnerable and everything above this is secure or something. But really, it's just an ambiguous scale of conditions at varying levels of benefit for the attacker or for the malicious actor. Now, in the DBR, we normally code the action and the condition that they took advantage of to realize that action is inherent. But when we have errors, we are coding the condition and we're coding the person who created the condition. And this is one of those questions, and it's one of those things that, you know, takes time to get to do consistently, is you have to choose where's that line between coding the condition caused by the internal person and coding the action caused by the external. And we generally err on the side of using the action by the external person, but in this case, the condition created by the internal sysadmin is the appropriate way to code it. So that long explanation of an interestingly nuanced topic, we will go on and we will do this entire thing again because this happened twice. Confirmed, reference, summary, ransomware on open MongoDB database. I am the analyst. And notes, breach 2 of 2 for GitHub ID. Number 1 is hacker finds MongoDB and shares. Number 2 is ransomware. MongoDB. Okay. So the timeline. When did the ransomware drop? This data was later destroyed and servers were taken down soon after. So we know it was in 2019, but we don't know when. Compromise from the ransomware. Again, probably took hours to search for. Exfiltration did not happen. Discovery, they say soon after. Let's assume that's in days. Containment, and they say hours after they discovered it. The victim ID again is Lumen PDF. Employee count we decided was 100 to 1,000. NIX code. Oh, where do we find the NIX code? I must have moved on from the page. Oh, nope, here it is. It's the one that's always loading. So, data, here we are. Put that for the industry. One location in New Zealand, which is 009053. State is US, not US, NZ, and then Canterbury, which was CAN. That gets us our victim information. The action this time was, it's really ransomware, but I mean, we're going to mark ransomware because it was, well, but they don't really encrypt it. They delete the database and they leave a ransomware note. So this is like hacking direct access. Use of stolen backdoor, C2, use of stolen creds. They didn't really use credentials. There was no password to guess. Let's see, there's just where's living off the land? There's a use of tools. Fuzzying, format string, service, buffer overflow, abuse of functionality. That's what I need. And this was through the command shell. I mean, really, so a MongoDB database, it's actually through the web app, right? That you issue commands to it. This is not used to delete, well, exfiltrate, I guess, and then delete the data. Action, hacking, malware, yada, yada, yada. Actor, external actor, this is malicious. So this one we're code not as the error, but as the malicious actions. So this is organized crime for financial gain. So we have a lot of these days. We don't know where they are, so unknown. asset was, again, one database server. And, well, I mean, we don't know. It's a cloud service. It could be kind of located. That's right. Attribute, confidentiality. It was not a confidentiality issue. It was, oh, yes, it was, because they took the data. That's right. Yes. And we know that there were, what was it, 2,000, blah, blah, blah. Okay, copy this, and 24,306,039. And this is, again, personal information and credentials of a type of customers. So it's stored unencrypted. Data abuse. No, not in the sense that the data was abused. It was taken so that they can return it, but it was not necessarily abused. Targeted, this was opportunistic because it was online. Oh, we need to code the availability asset of obscuration, duration, unknown. We don't, I don't think they ever got the data back. Actually, it's unknown. We just don't know. Close that. Targeted discovery method. This one sounds like it was discovered. It was disclosed by the actor with the ransomware note. Again, the value chain here requires ransomware, and this one does require the targeting. So non-web internet search. But really, that's more of a targeting. That's not a non-distribution service. It's specifically for targeting, looking for the misconfiguration. And so distribution, this really doesn't apply in this case. But we do have cash out, and cash out should be cryptocurrency. And then impacts, overall rating of damaging, well, I don't know, I marked the other one insignificant. It seems this one too, because they really haven't, they took the database offline, the service still works. Source, this was, again, priority assignment. The action was a hacking action by an external actor on a server asset, compromising confidentiality. And really, I'm going to code the availability because that's the main one. It was really one step. Actually, no, we'll code the two. Confidentiality to download the data set, and then hacking action by an external actor on the server to compromise the availability of the data. And really, obscuration doesn't apply in this case. The data was straight up deleted. So, destruction, loss. Destruction. It was just the data was deleted, not loss would be just you don't know where it went. Okay, with that, we can mark it as validated. We'll save that out. That is a solid 4 breaches for today. Thank you all for coming and watching it. Hopefully you learned something about how this is done and how you can do it yourself. And I should be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Thank you.